everyone. This is Lawrence Watkins with the Black Financial Channel, and welcome to the Financial Juneteenth 5. These are my 5 most interesting articles as it relates to Black finance, wealth, and business for today, September 28th, 2020. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so my first and lead article for today comes from the Wall Street Journal. It asks, why are there still so few Black CEOs? And it states that Black professionals comprise 1% of the executives running America's top 500 companies. So it starts off, giving that statistic, and I was shocked by this. Well, actually, I already knew this, but currently there are only 4 Black Fortune 500 CEOs out of, I guess, 500. So that is, less than 1%. The article states that among all U.S. companies with over 100 employees, Black people hold just 3% of executive or senior level roles, according to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. So Ron Williams, who used to be the CEO of Aetna, which is in the healthcare space, he states, and he's also on the board of 14 different companies, he states that opportunity is not equally distributed. Too many promotions in companies are informally decided before jobs are ever posted, leaving Black people and more marginalized talent without the chance to compete. Once the CEO, or excuse me, once in the C-suite, they talk about African Americans are largely given the profit and loss positions as well as a factor in terms of why people don't actually get to the CEO position. So there's studies that talk about this, where if you are in over a P&L type of position in regards to a profit center, you have a higher likelihood of getting to the C-suite instead of being like the chief marketing officer or the chief customer support officer, those types of things as well. So here's a picture of Ron Williams right here. So that's at his home. Later on in the article, they talked a little bit more, and I thought this quote was very interesting. It states, the experience of being second guessed or being subject to racial comments adds up. Black professionals are more likely to leave their jobs. 35% they say that they intend to leave their company within the next 2 years, with many mentioning isolation and workplace hostility, compared to 27% of their white peers, according to COCAL, I think that's how you say that, a think tank formerly known as the Center for Talent Innovation focused on workplace diversity. So if you want to deep dive into, I guess, everything related to why there aren't many Black CEOs, highly recommend that you check out the article from the Wall Street Journal. I found it to be very informative and deeply researched. So have a look at that whenever you have a moment. The next article comes from Axios, and they're talking once again about Fortune 100 companies. So it states here, Fortune 100 companies commit $3.3 billion to fight racism and inequality. So 58 companies have pledged about $3.3 billion, but 42 have yet to announce that. The 2 biggest pledges come from Citigroup, as well as Bank of America, and then PepsiCo coming in the 3rd spot as well. All right. So I thought this was interesting. So the Citigroup, of course, donated their $1.15 billion to jump up everything to about $3 billion. This was interesting. IBM announced it was donating $100 million in assets, including university guest lectures, curriculum content, digital badges, software, and faculty training to select Black colleges by the end of 2020. So they're not actually giving cash; they are setting the value of what they deem their assets to be, and donating that. So still, of course, a great donation. It's better than not donating anything. But I think a lot of these universities and a lot of these organizations would be much better off if they were able to donate some level of cash as well. But I found that to be interesting in terms of the numbers and how they actually added up. Let's see here. The commitments are yes, but so the commitments are also pennies on the dollar of the collective $569 billion in profits the 100 companies made last year, and many lack details about how the money will be used to actually make the difference. The next article comes from the New York Times. So let me zoom in on this a little bit. But it states that cream of wheat to drop black chef from packaging, the company says. So let's see here. Oh, yeah. So it says the hot cereal joins Aunt Jemima, Eskimo pie, and other products that have shifted brand names and images amid calls for racial justice. So for years, this is from the company B&G Foods. For years, the image of an African American chef appeared on our cream of wheat packaging. It reminds some consumers of earlier depictions they find offensive, the company says. It also gives a little bit of background about the history. His name was Rice, I believe, a pejorative term for Black men, and he was once depicted as a barely literate cook who did not know what vitamins were. In the 1920s, they actually changed this and asked, I guess, a chef in Chicago, Chicago waiter, excuse me, to put on the chef's hat. And he was paid $5 and no royalties to become the actual face of cream of wheat. So this, really talks about long-term racism within the United States. So this goes back into the early 1900s, and it talks, quite a bit about how African Americans and African American men and women were depicted in these character forms. And now, I guess, 100 years later, they're trying to change that a little bit in terms of corporate America. But of course, what happened in Minneapolis with George Floyd and others were the spark to, cause a lot of this change as well. So that was in the New York Times, I believe, yesterday. So make sure you check that out. The next article is about Comcast and Revolt Media. So it says Comcast and Revolt signed agreement to expand the network's availability to millions more viewers in over 30 markets. Yep, it talks about that. Here's a quote from Diddy. He says, Revolt exists to tell our stories and empower our community. As one of very few Black-owned media platforms, it is important that we can reach our audiences wherever they are. We are excited to continue to grow with Comcast and deliver our content to millions of additional homes. It also talks about here, as part of the new agreement, the companies will collaborate to create impactful cultural content. The first program, Black Voices on Mute, will feature original content that bridges the past with present to illuminate the importance of voting and the history of voter suppression in the Black community. So it's interesting to me to see Comcast Media become this social justice warrior and this commitment to social justice, especially after the long and extended battle and lawsuit with Byron Allen on that particular front. But if you want to read more, this was in, I guess, MarTech series. It's also in other places over the web, so make sure you check out a great article on this particular piece of news. Our last topic for today has to do with funding in terms of white and Black-led organizations as it relates to philanthropic efforts. So the funding gap between Black and white-led organizations is clear and alarming. This is from Fortune magazine today. So it talks about that. One study of more than 140 nonprofits found that white-led groups have budgets that were 24% larger than those led by people of color. Groups led by Black women receive less money than those run by white women and also Black men. There are many reasons for this. The article states this is more of an opinion piece from, I believe her name is Evangela Wade, and she's out of down in Mississippi. I believe runs a legal nonprofit down there. But it says that leaders of color traditionally have fewer relationships with influential organizations and people. This is actually connected in a certain type of way in terms of why there aren't many Black CEOs, only 4 out of 500 in terms of the Fortune 500s or Fortune 500. And in this article from the Wall Street Journal, they also mention the importance of networks in regards to increasing your likelihood of getting into the C-suite as well in these types of organizations. So in philanthropy, it seems to be no different. And Evangela talks a lot about that, but it also gave me a reminder about a new organization that's coming out. It's called Give Blck, BLCK, which is a new database that connects donors to Black nonprofits. This was released about 4 days ago. But it says this is a tool that helps donors easily identify these organizations in order to drive more dollars to underfunded causes and to solve racial disparities in philanthropic funding. It was founded by Christina Lewis and also a Stephanie Ellis Smith. I pulled up their website. It's GiveBlack, GIVEBLCK.org, and it has just a lot of different nonprofits that are out here in terms of, let's say, Kappa Alpha Psi, Yoga Foster. So it's really just a database. It has, I believe, some corporate dollars behind it as well. But I found this article to be interesting, and check out GiveBlack if you want to get your employer involved in, I guess, this funding as well. But that's about it in regards to the news for the day. So please let me know what you think about this segment. So this, like I said, this is a new segment, and if you all like it, please let me know in the comments that you like it. Also, please leave a thumbs up, and also share and subscribe to the Blck Financial Channel if you'd like to receive more financial content like the content that we produce today here with the Financial Juneteenth 5. So on behalf of the Blck Financial Channel, my name is Lawrence Watkins. Take care, be blessed, and have a wonderful day. All right.